20 years ago, you had the thought that, I want to acquire lands, and for that
I wanted to buy an estate actually.
Oh, you wanted to buy an estate?
I wanted to buy an estate of 100 acres estate or something. I really worked very hard on that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
On that note, I want to keep this very simple, and it's not a question answer thing. I'll not be asking you questions. You will not be answering things. This is just a conversation, for the want of a better word, between two Strees.
Okay.
So that is something we'll. How I tend, want to start with in general is talk me through who you are,
I am.
What has been your journey, and take it as far as you can.
I can. Okay. So how should I address you? Like,
you can call me Isha.
Okay. So Isha, I'm Anuradha, and I'd like to keep it that way. I am a Bangalore gal, is how I call.
True blue-blooded Bangalore.
Yeah, total blue-blooded Bangalore, total Kannadiga. It's a rare species in Bangalore.
Now especially,
yeah, it's a rare species. And nowadays, whenever you go anywhere and you speak in Kannada, they give this look. Oh. Okay.
Especially that entire
Aboriginal. Yeah. That's how they.
That's true. That's actually true. And someone who's not from Bangalore, I mean, I can totally relate to the other side of it as
So,
well.
grew up in South Bangalore, convent educated, and then my father wanted forced me to learn typing and shorthand in those days, because he felt that. Which is quite good actually. He felt that I will become self-sufficient, either getting a government job or that was when I was growing up, rather when I was, I think must have been 5-6 years, when we had the nationalization of banks. So he thought she'll get a nice bank job or something like that. So you should be equipped completely on the table. Like how if I were to just give a juxtaposit for this generation, it's like having a father asking a daughter to be completely tech savvy.
Yeah.
So that you can survive anywhere.
Yeah.
So that was what the grounding skills that were. And I was always good at communication. Language was good. And being in Bangalore, you kind of learn almost 5 languages.
Yeah.
So I can speak Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, and of course English.
You've learned the other vernacular languages?
It's everything there. Oh. It's there in the air, and if you have a little, skill to pick it up, it'll quickly come to you.
So you have a knack of picking up languages.
Because you see, this state Karnataka is actually taken from various other states and then formed as one. So you have regions where predominantly Telugu speaking people are there. You have regions which are Tamil speaking people. And then of course English is because English we adopted very quickly.
Yeah.
And of course local is Kannada. And then we have different dialects of Kannada and different accents we speak in Kannada. Yeah. So that also.
There's always a very local Bangalore
Yeah, one
Kannada
local Bangalore Kannada. There's a North Karnataka. Then there's a Mangalore Kannada.
Yeah.
So many of them.
And there's one with English mixed.
That is Kinglish Kannada.
Yeah, that's I think that's the one that I'm slightly able to understand and maybe speak. But that I'm not going to get.
So then, actually, I really don't know what I wanted to be. My dad wanted me to be an engineer. I was very weak in maths. So the closest that I could come was for measurements and become architecture. But somehow I think I got somewhere some seat very funny. He was very sure that it has to be a government
job.
No, government college where you will get through the and not pay a private education.
Yeah.
But which I thought, though he could afford, he felt that you should earn it yourself, the seat. Actually, it was more lack of disinterest or something. Anyway, that didn't happen. Luckily for me, then we had this law college starting a 5-year course, integrated course. So I joined and I did really well in law college. Then I went abroad to study. In fact, I'm the first person in my family to have crossed the rivers. I mean, crossed the oceans.
Where
to
did you
across.
go?
I went to London University to
Pursue
masters to pursue masters in law, because basic education was here. Then I came back, and then those days we didn't have a choice of not getting married. That was not there. You had to get married.
That's true.
So the choice was either you bring a good boy, or they'll choose.
Those days is what days are we talking?
We are talking in like mid-90s.
Midnight. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So that's how it was. Then because I chose my own husband, and then my dad was like, okay, and mom would always advise dad. So it was like mom never says. So that's how women of those days would be.
Yeah.
In fact, they would actually run everything, but not be in the forefront.
Yeah, not being the
They'd always be there at the back.
kingmaker of
Yeah,
that
he's a
sort.
kingmaker. All. So I've always believed that if the man anywhere in the world is going to just give that space to that woman, she will make his life.
What a
It's
wonderful-
sad that men don't realize it. They always feel that insecurity, that if they give up, or if they give in, or if they give that leverage, the woman will. No, because we are so much brought up to do something good for people around us. That's
Yeah,
how
be
we are
a
brought.
little more selfless.
To be more selfless, be a care for people around you. That's how we are brought
like a
up.
caregiver.
Caregiver for your family.
Yeah.
So that will be a paramount, and you will do it, come what may. And if you're going to get a good spouse, husband, then his life is made actually. This is what I believe.
True.
And I think my husband was smart in that. I'm telling you seriously, he doesn't interfere in anything. He's given me the maximum freedom one can even think of. And I think I made his life, couldn't have asked for anything more. So just a wonderful house. He said, whatever you want to pursue, you can pursue. And what I wanted was an identity for myself. That I am also someone.
Yeah.
That I also know many people beyond the so-called the social kitty party.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a kitty party woman. That I was very sure. Not just to go to a party and sit and do them. No, I want to do something that makes a difference in lives of people. And I always fought for my rights for everything. So I felt I should do the same thing for others also. And I think that was somewhere the reason why I kind of chose to be a lawyer. And it was only after I finished all this and then got into litigation. I was working for a firm, and which was not like, I was more of a litigator. I presented in court and put across people's cases and things like that. And it was there I realized that whole setup is so conventional. It's not like those what you see in the suits and you see
all those law shows.
Oh no, it's nothing like
that courtroom drama that you see.
Absolutely, it is nothing like that. First of all, there's no drama that happens, and two is, again, it's also a male-dominated profession, and there are very few women. And then because women always have so many multiple aspects to take care, so focusing on one career becomes very difficult.
That's true. So there's so much that I picked up from it. In hindsight, if you see your father actually, cementing that.
Yeah, you don't see that. I mean, that's what I say. People ask me like, what do you think about equal rights? And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean by equal rights? Do you think of a world where you replace men and you want to be there? Is that what you say is equality? What is equality?
Correct. It is when you coexist and
you coexist. You also get an equal opportunity to do what you feel you want to do. So I always lived in a very superiority complex. I always felt I'm better. I can do many things more than what a man can do.
I think that's in more than superiority complex. That's something that empowers you.
Yeah, that was my driving force.
Absolutely. So cementing your childhood by having all these things, then venturing into sort of a government job, looking at engineering, and then pursuing law. What was your thought process when all of these things, when you take me back to that time, the engineer or lawyer or the nationalization of banks? Is that something I want to pursue? How was that period for you?
No, that period was, as I told you, what I was doing, I wanted to do something good in that. And so when I joined law college, I did everything that a law student can do. Debates, moods, months, we have them, people will know. Everything, you would participate in everything and did the best in it. And even when I came to the profession, I never took a break except for whatever the matrimony break that you get, which you required to this one. Otherwise, I would always.
I think everyone requires that now. I would say
Yeah.
on both sides it should be given.
That was not was there. My husband was not so involved in because they were not brought up to be hands-on, to carry a child and things like that. And I said, neither was I hands-on. It's not that I become a mom before and I'm doing a second act now.
Yeah.
I also learned on the job. So you could. But it's a bit difficult those days. But I can see a lot of change nowadays. Young boys and they're hands-on fathers. So they really involve themselves in raising a child. So these career breaks happens for women, so it becomes very difficult. So women need to be more resilient and more, what shall I say, hands-on and hold it on. You need to be relevant all the time.
As hands-on as they are in other aspects.
As they're at home. So if they want to kind of be in any profession, do work, you have to keep on holding it on. You can never leave. It's like a bus journey, holding on to a railing, and then so many jerks are there. So after some time you will say, oh, enough of it, and you'll go and sit off, right, somewhere.
So what has been your motivation, if I take from that, to not actually go off the ramp, constantly be relevant, constantly, as you mentioned, that the desire in you to do something for the greater good of people, and not just as a woman, as a career, that this is something that you want to strive and do to make lives of other people better. That's a very strong motivation. In fact, if you see a lot of people, they want to do something for themselves. That okay, I want to run a business. I want to do a lot of, I want to make more money, or I want to have a stable job, or I want a vacation. There are a lot of motivations that drive people. For you, doing something for the greater good, from the very beginning when you were in law college, that's a very, very strong ground that you took. With that as motivation, what kept you apart from that, substantiating that, what kept you going all through these years? And
I would say doing more and more on that, and also have your own development with that, and bring happiness to yourself.
Do you have any mantra, or is there anything that you practice to keep yourself happy? Or
earlier, when my children were very small, I always used to tell myself, it's a happy mother who will be a happy woman.
That's a lovely thing.
Because if you're not going to be happy, then you cannot be a happy mother. If you're not going to be happy yourself, you can't be a good mother.
Yeah.
So be happy, and then you can do both raise the children and pursue a profession.
As long as you're happy from within, I think there's a lot that you can do.
So you can do that.
So as a lawyer fighting for the rights of people, fighting for the greater good of society, what has been something that, as you said, something that made you happy from inside, that, okay, this is something that I saw as a vision, this is something that I wanted to do, and somehow it came out very, very, exactly the way I wanted to do. During your profession, professional career, if we, so to speak, how has this journey of being a lawyer for you? Because as I understand, there are no courtroom dramas anymore.
No. There are no courtroom dramas. See, you always try to take more and more work that is more challenging towards yourself. See, it's like if I can explain, a lawyer's practice is just like a doctor's practice, like that.
That's true, actually.
So it takes years and years before you actually become confident in, because you are actually taking the responsibility of somebody's wealth or somebody's rights, somebody's misery.
That's true. more than anything that.
So you should be first sure that you will be able to get them some solace or some relief in that. So for that confidence for you to come, it's going to take a substantial, at least a decade, I would say. But nowadays youngsters would say that it can be much faster because legal education today has become quite robust. So the students are really given more hands-on tasks to more practical experiences to handle people's situations and problems, which were not there. So it's learning on the job. So every time you're learning. So, and then I diversified in the sense that now I'm also a conciliator, I'm a mediator. So I try to find some solutions or help them find solutions for their problems. So I go to this court or next mediations where the people who are litigating in court, they come before you to try to see if we can, try to help them to find some solutions for their situations. So that also gives you a lot of happiness when you do that. And of course, in the court, it is either victory or defeat.
Yeah.
So when you win, it's fun, and when you lose, I'm a bit. I wouldn't say pessimist in that aspect. I'm a bit pessimist because I always want to win.
Yeah,
It's
you
not possible,
established
right?
that quite early on that
I always want to win. Even my cases also, I always want to win. If I would lose, I'm telling you, I would crib over it for months together. From months, it has now come to days. After 25 years.
Improvement, but
so I don't know whether it's an improvement. It's for days. It goes on reeling that where I made a mistake that it didn't. Because ultimately, you can't win everything.
Yeah.
Everything has its own limitations. But you can always do better and better, take better issues, see where there is really, if there is really an injustice that has happened, you cannot give in justice, and there's ultimately nobody can give justice. You can only do that much. Just help them try to get, sometimes business people, sometimes commoners, and sometimes women, all kinds of people come.
Is there any particular incident that, as you mentioned, there are wins which you enjoy, and then there are losses which you probably, I would say, you introspect and then come out better. Yeah. If you could, tell me one of both.
So there was this gentleman, in fact, for some reason I remembered him very recently because a similar matter had come. In Bangalore, I think he must have built a home about 30 or 40 years ago. Not very far. That was somewhere in, you have this dairy circle and all near Banagata, somewhere around there. Those used to be. See, 30 years Bangalore before was totally different. You can't even imagine that the outskirts of Bangalore was, that the dairy circle was the last. There's nothing beyond that. There's nothing beyond that actually, beyond 30 years. So he had, you have these revenue sites where somebody will be holding some land and then they will sell it to you. And what do you want to do in life? You want to build a home in the end, right? Yeah. So he had made a nice little home, and then the authorities had acquired it to make a, organized housing sectors.
Acquired as in taken?
Taken. So we have a Bangalore Development Authority.
Correct, BDA.
So they would the government authorizes them to take chunk of lands, and then they make it organized. Like for example, you go to JP Nagar, you go to Jai Nagar, they're also organized. City is so organized because the authorities acquire large chunks of lands and then fragmentize them and then give them all basic, essential requirement, that is for water, everything, and then allots it back. So before this had happened, or just that was happening, this gentleman had purchased the house and it built. So now he's fighting this case. So somehow he came to know about me, and then he came. And I will tell you, I fought this case for about 5 to 6 years.
Really? That long?
That long. Because you always, what is it that you want? See, legally it's all wrong. Because it's an authority acquired, and then he has purchased it before that. He will get a compensation, but he has to give up his home. So he says, I didn't know that this was acquired or is going to be acquired. The person who was owner, he sold it to me, and then I built. Now this is a very, very common situation our common man in this country is on.
Their homes being taken from them.
Taken over for some reason, for something, for public purpose acquirement or for acquiring this organized sector. For 5-6 years, all that we could get in the end for him was that the authority will consider what best they can do and give him something alternative or regularize what, because the court can only give you orders within the framework of the law.
Yeah.
So in the law, there is no provision that you can allot it back to the same person, then it's not possible. I mean, those days it was not. So I recollect that we lost in the first round, and then we have an appeal. So we went to the appellate court, and then I told him I will try my best what I can give you, but we'll try to protect your possession as much as possible. Then he was actually fighting quite a bit before that. With me, he was about 5-7 years, and finally he got this order. And I met him about 8 years or 10 years ago in the courts. So he only came and spoke to me. I said, what happened? He said, see, then finally the law changed, and then they have a provision where in case you're in possession, you can pay up some money and then it can get regularized. So now I've applied for that.
So now you're actually telling me that
he still continues to be there.
And this is a reform that you actually got into.
Yeah, in the sense, we tell this. So slowly, how does government reform? It will see the difficulties of people around, and then it will reform. So today now we have amendments to those very acts which says that in case you take away 100 acres of mine, then the authority will give me some land for myself, or allot me some sites. Allot me some sites from that.
Got it.
Because there's no point in taking entire land from me and giving it to everybody and I become landless.
Correct.
You know,
that is a basic.
That's a basic thing. But then to come to this reform, it takes a long year. Somebody needs to keep fighting for this. And then like this, slowly orders will happen. The judge will also see that so much injustice is happening. So they'll also give some directions, give their thoughts out. Then it goes to the law commission, and then the law commission makes an order. So this was a very good order for him, and he says, I am still in my home, and that was a very,
that would give you
very
a sense
satisfying
a sense of fulfillment as well.
That, it was worth it.
Yeah,
whatever you did, whatever you fought. But many cases may not go well also. Some cases do well, but I remember very well on that day when I got this order, I was not happy.
Why?
Because I thought he didn't get anything from the legal point of view. He has to still fight somewhere.
Yeah.
From this place he was fighting somewhere, but it worked for him. So
I mean, at least I mean, in genuinity, it could be a big win if you look at it from that sense. Getting an entire reform into a sector like real estate, and that, of course, I'm hoping it would have made you happy. But then, of course, is there something which as you mentioned, that you weren't too happy about it because there still was a long way to go? Is there any other instance in terms of a reform or a social?
The other thing that you want to hear is this is something, a landmark decision where I argued. One of my clients was in Hubli, Belgaum Hubli, that belt.
Beautiful belt.
And so they had a vehicle in Belgaum, that is after Belgaum, which goes to Maharashtra. So they had a vehicle there, and their registration was from that. So since their office was here in Belgaum and in Hubli, they would come from there here. So every time the vehicle entered, our local, because we have a one motor vehicle act for the country, and then each state makes its own.
Correct.
Own. So when you pay tax, now you started paying lifetime tax. These are all old rules. So we had a restrictions. It was not a restriction from movement from one state to another, but it was like if you move to another, you pay tax over there as well. So he would always be asked to pay tax in Karnataka. So the rule said you could only take your vehicle from out of state into another state for 1 month, and not more than that.
Oh,
that's how the rule was. That means in case I am driving a Maharashtra vehicle,
you could only stay in that place for a month.
Stay in any other place other than Maharashtra. That vehicle could stay for only 1 month.
Oh,
and
after
not
that
otherwise. It has to go back because the registration is of that.
Okay.
So now after lifetime tax for the vehicles and all started coming, so I took up this issue for this person to say, when I have paid a tax which is under the central legislation, why am I to keep on paying tax every time I move a vehicle from one region to another region? I may be having an office on the border of 2 states. So every time I move the vehicles, you can keep a check. But why should I pay tax here also? Why should I pay tax there also? So the judge quashed those rules to say this 1 month makes no sense. You have a right, because we have a constitution gives us a right to move from one place, one state to another state very freely. So why should there be a restriction on the vehicles? You can keep a tab, you can keep security, but tomorrow if I choose to go to Tamil Nadu, I have to pay tax there.
But this would have had to be a pan-India decision. Supreme
No,
Court
yeah.
would
So
have
then
had to.
then the rules in Karnataka now is they don't impose tax for vehicles which come from outside. That was I think probably one of the reasons why I have so many people. You can see Maharashtra vehicle, you can see a West Bengal vehicle, you can see all those vehicles traveling on this.
We always thought that, the city of startups and the IT city is what is contributing to it, and here you are sitting telling me that, what?
Yeah, but
This
the
is
taxman
what is
may not
getting
like
charged.
it because they have lost tax on so many vehicles. That he may not like it. So the state government brought an amendment to that, to get over the judgment what I got. They brought an amendment to this. Then that was also challenged by other people. Then they said the contention that was taken in this case is not overcome by legislation.
Okay.
So you cannot bring another legislation in violation or rather in against any decision of the court. So now I think our laws in Karnataka are that there's a 1 month restriction is not there. You can bring in your vehicles and go and things.
So are you looking to, try and get other states also to implement this kind
Yeah,
of
I think in
decision?
other states, I don't know, there may not be that many. Only few of them may have. But now, since the time lifetime tax has come, you pay a lifetime tax and you pay highest lifetime tax in one place, then that should be enough. You just move that. So the government has taken the tax on that vehicle of the life of that vehicle.
Yeah.
How many ever years. So how does it matter where it moves?
In fact, these are landslide decisions that, it looks like it may be a small tax or, you pay it once or twice, but then people who keep moving or for someone like that accumulated over a lifetime, that could be a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, it was.
And
So it was. So this goes against our right to free movement from one place to another. So like this small things, and there are other many things in tax matters that are done. So that's where my so I kept my profession that there is one chunk from where I earn the revenue. That I was very sure that I'll have those high net worth clients or I'll have those at companies which will fill my pockets. Then I would also have that much of work which I did pro bono, in the sense for which I would give my services maybe
free of cost.
Free of cost or subsidies, something like that. So like this, I've kind of very parallelly brought my profession high.
So you've had a stellar career. There is a lot that of course comes to you, not just being a lawyer, but also in terms of social reforms that you've done for so long, as you mentioned. If I had to ask you, what if there's a highlight of your career, because this is something I genuinely, as I try to learn from more women, right? There's a lot of women I've met who I speak with who've done well in their careers and have, of course, cemented their position as business women or whoever. There's always this question that I ask. There are things you do for money, for your for your family, or for your money, or for things that you want to buy, or it could be any motivation. Versus there are things that you do for a sense of fulfillment, and no better person than you to ask this question, because you actually do both.
I do. My portfolio is equally balanced with that.
So what if there had to be a highlight, would it be a case that got you money, or would it be a case that you did pro bono?
It's a very difficult question, because if you'd asked me this question 10 years ago, maybe I would say the one that gives me revenue. Because every stage of your life, certain things are important.
Yeah.
You want to make a home, at the end of the day, we all are victims of that social construct of so-called achievements.
Absolutely.
So, but that you have realized that really is not all of it all, then money can only give you this much. Now today, I think I would say that all the reformist work or the pro bono works that I did are also equally satisfying. But I cannot I can't discredit what has given me my bread, butter, jam, everything. I can't discredit that. For more than anything else, it was something that people knew me as a high tax paying advocate. So I mean, I also got that, what shall I say, that aura, or I mean, I got that happiness from that fame as well.
How does it
So,
feel like to be one of the higher tax-paying
yeah,
lawyers?
as I told you, I enjoyed it for many years. Now it's not of so much significant importance, but that you are there, you've achieved, you've seen it all, is a good feeling. It's
How
certainly a
does
good feeling.
so when you are at those heights, as you mentioned, of course there's money that comes behind when you do hard work. It's sort of, I would say, a lot of people. It's like a cliche, right? Don't run behind money; it'll run behind
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So eventually, when you reach that point where money is actually chasing you, what were your thoughts at that point of time of how you want to manage your money? How did you look at it?
How
Basically, how
did
did
we
you approach it?
look? Yeah, of course. One is that everybody wants to make a home, so that means you have to get into real estate. There's no doubt on that. Then the excess money. So what we did as a couple, my husband and I, he's a chartered accountant, so he also has his own
What a
independent
lovely
practice.
combination.
Yeah. So he also has an independent practice like I do. So I mean, I should thank him that he always said that you will have it separately and we will keep it separately. Profession also. So I have my separate office. I took my own clients. There was no overlapping and things like that. And he has his own set of clients. So whatever money we made from our profession, since he was very good at maths, and he would know how to invest it insofar as shares and things like that. So that's a good chunk that he did, and we kind of multiplied more from there. I always believed in real estate in the sense that I always felt that land is something that is long term investment. Is land.
Is it something you had known for some time or during your career, and like how did this thought come into you, saying that I'm always been
okay, so we have
leaning towards land?
So we have what shall I say, a saying in Kannada, hennu, honnu, mannu.
Which means?
So which means one is woman, another is wealth, as in billions, not as in wealth. Mannu is mud, that is land.
Land.
Okay, so these are the ones which gives you prosperity.
Okay.
All these three.
Sure.
So, so I used to tell him, now you have all the three. So, and I'm giving you an additional tip also. No, I always felt that real estate, land as such, now I feel it is difficult to take care of it. Slowly I'm realizing that. But the days when I was to kind of, what shall I say, think of acquiring more lands, it was, I thought that, I didn't think it was going to be difficult. But now to safeguard them
When was this?
This I would say like 20 years ago. 20
So 20 years ago, you had the thought that, I want to acquire lands, and for that
I wanted to buy an estate actually.
Oh, you wanted to buy an estate?
I want to buy an estate, over 100 acres estate or something. I really worked very hard on that. Now I feel I'm happy that I did not do that.
So 20 years ago, if you had a thought of buying, and something so specific as to buying an estate, there is more thought that would have gone even before that, or your touch with understanding of real estate to come to the decision of trying to buy an estate.
See, I think it's so much to do with how when you grow up, you always, it starts with having a home to begin with.
Yeah.
So having a home means land. Next, my forefathers were all agriculturists. That's my grandfather and good amount of my uncles and all that. They were, and then we still in village we have lands. So I felt land always gives you a grounding, a sense of grounding, a sense of calling, where you have
like a belonging.
It's a belonging. It's a sense of calling. It will call you at some point of time. So I felt we should invest in lands. Lands as in now. How do you distinguish between real estate and a land? Do you have any?
It is a part
it's
of
same.
it.
Yeah, it's a part of it.
Yeah.
Then when Bangalore started growing so fast, then we moved that thought of having landed properties into real estate.
Correct.
Because it was more, what shall I say, yielding.
Yeah.
So you buy a
You get yielding is returns.
yeah, you're
that
getting
you start
yeah,
getting
you get
returns.
returns because if you just have a vacant land, one is you need to take care of it. It's very difficult in a city like Bangalore. It's very difficult. If you have the means, of course, you can. But real estate gave us good returns.
So you bought land in your own name, like
Yeah, we
your
always had both of us bought it in our names. It's
jointly.
always a jointly. Yeah, we used to
So
have.
all decisions related to identifying, buying, the entire process that goes through to get that land, you both did
Yeah,
jointly.
we did jointly. So people would come and give a reference. Once they come to know that there are people who are interested in buying, they come, and then my husband would discuss with us. Then I would go see the place, and most of the homes that I built on them, I've did it all myself.
Oh,
Run them, rent them, take care of them. Also, I did it myself.
how did it come to you that it's like of course you're a lawyer, you've also done multiple other things, so I wouldn't discount the fact that you can also manage your own real estate, but how did that thought come to you that what, this is something I want to do on my own, all by myself, that if we are investing we will have that conversation or you will have it with your husband, you guys will buy land, but I want to rent out my own properties, I want to build my own properties, because there is so much that goes into not just identifying, buying documents, finding tenants. Construction is another headache of its own, right? So how did you get into it? What was the thought behind it? Just
No, I always feel, which I now strongly feel, that so long as you do not take that additional effort to have a grip of it, then it's not yours. I mean, you can't keep a hold on it. So you have to make that effort, at least between whoever are the joint owners.
Correct.
We will have to make that effort to repeatedly go to the place, see what it is. If requires development, it needs to be developed. Or if it needs to be, if you feel the land needs to be kept, then it needs to be kept for the future generation. You have to make that planning. Once you have 2, 3, if you're like a collective, if you have already made that many properties, then if you don't give that attention, then
so you were cemented in the fact that you want to be all hands on with your own.
I feel you
real
have to,
estate.
because see, you can only take help from your staff, you can take help from what shall I say, other builders, all those you can do, but unless and until you don't give your, at least where you want to be where you want it to be a part of you, like you built a house and then rent it up or something, you need to go and have a look at it, at least to see what's happening.
And I think that is something that it's already been said for many years and for more, that a house is not something that you invest in or you buy, or it's like any other asset. There is a lot of emotional, a sentimental value that people also attach to it, because we also spoke in the beginning, right? You said everything sort of starts from home,
Yeah,
and that is the value that you also attach to a particular house. So being hands-on and creating your own home would have given you a much more a different sense of achievement.
of course, certainly, and now I am very sure of what is there, what's not there, right?
Yeah.
So you have to give that time,
And that's a different kind of independence, right? That you see that this is something
Yeah,
that I own in and
and
out.
actually, many women do that. Many women do that, but they silently do it. Just it doesn't come out so much in the.
Why do you think that is? Even
Why is it that?
do you say that somewhere exists even today, that there is a slight hesitation for women
No, not anymore.
come
See,
out and talk about it?
I'll tell you about, from 30 years, India has been a Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
So more and more girls are getting educated, and so that there is been that shift. Of course, having said that, there's still lots more to do, but there is, and women are becoming educated to begin with. Now, when I say educated, one is literacy, yes. Two is they're leaving homes and they're going out and making it on their own.
Yeah.
Like if I can give you a government structure, let's take a government.
Sure.
In the government, you have chief minister, then ministers, then you have their PAs and all that. Then you have another rung of the secretaries. They are all women. 70% of them are women. You take it any government, non-government organization, you take any. So in the hierarchy, in financial sector or when it comes to income earning sector, at that level there are many, many women. Now this generation is not able to break that and move ahead.
Why is that? Why do you feel that?
There are so many factors for it. One is women have to take a lot of breaks. They are, at the end of the day, they are still that caregivers at home. And not all women get that support in the family that yes, you go. See, it is like there's only one person in the front, right?
Yeah.
So either between the couple, one of them will have to be at a given point of time in the front. So that understanding has to come between the couple
You feel
or in
there's
the
still
family.
time to go.
Long time to go, but it is there in the horizon, and I can very clearly see it, because today women are taking part in the financial decision making of families. They were always consulted, but today they are bringing a value addition because of their educational background.
As in people going to them for advice and actually acting.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, there are many homes where women are trading at home.
Oh yeah. I'm actually quite aware about that.
So there are many of them, and there are many of them who do many other tradings. Like if you take like 10-15 years before, there were many women who did with garments, they did with home accessories, they did with home products, they had home medicine. So many aspects women sold.
That's actually true. If I'm not sure if this would resonate, because I come from North India, and my mother had that group of friends.
Yeah.
They all used to pool in some money,
and then
they would invest somewhere and get some returns.
In my view, women have always been there. It is just that they never came forward.
Yeah.
Or their income did not matter, because it was always a supplement income.
Yeah. That actually is a very valid point. That
it was always a supplement income, in the sense it ran a large families, and it has been my experience that in homes where there's no woman, it was very difficult for the homes to go on. But homes where there are no men, great things came out of that home.
It's actually, the evolution has been so much that women not just taking care of their homes or doing things in the in the backdrop, they're now in the forefront managing money.
Yeah.
As you said, you're actually hands-on onto your entire real estate. There are women who are coming out, and you very rightly said, see, there's so much that I see on or you also, there's so much on social media these days that you see people who would probably create something as a hobby, or which they would have done in their own house, now is reaching millions and millions of people.
Small things. Many things, like even like baby care, let's say, you got many ideas now women are coming out with, and they're able to put it on the net. People are seeing, and then you can buy. Earlier you had to set up a home, set up a shop or advertise it and things like that. Today our technology has brought it is so much. So
I think there is a part that this advent of technology and I would say social media as a platform that has made a lot of people who, especially women, who were always on the fence that should we do this, I'm not sure if I want to, should I start, are now starting careers at the drop of a hat. And they're using these platforms to just balloon the entire business. You see all these content creators coming up, influencers coming up, who are also,
most of them are women.
Yeah, most of them.
All of them. You just open Bloomberg. How many how many men are there? Tell me.
I'm not aware. You would know better.
There are hardly. You take any news anchors.
Isn't
all
the
are women.
CEO also a woman?
That's what
Bloomberg. Yeah.
So now we are making. I mean, of course, I would like it to be more and more and more. But then all the women who have a drive, they've always done, and I don't see any reason why women cannot be in forefront in finance. They can be, and they will come. It's only a matter of time.
And they are. There is a change, a sea change that we are looking at.
There is,
in terms of them, and a lot of them migrating to other cities, staying in areas of their own, in their own houses, building their own careers. And there's a lot of support that I would say. Earlier, there was not much of a support that you would get from
the support that time also was a different kind. Society for us was a different kind. Support at that time was a different kind. The support was that you make your home.
First.
Today, yes. Today, the support is you make your life. Life could include anything. For example, now you've come from such far place, your parents are now going to say, make your life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Home will come along with it. So first you be confident of yourself, then you make your home.
That's actually very true. You know, even when I stepped out, when I came out of the city, I was also quite young because my education has been in another city,
Yeah.
Predominantly.
Yeah.
And at that point of time, the support that came, and they said, yeah, go ahead, make your living,
Yeah.
and everything will fall into place.
Yeah.
And you know, when you see, when you're focused and when you work like that, when you start taking control of a lot of professional things, it may give you that focus and it gives you that drive, and somehow other things also start falling into place. So it's you know, it's one tailing the other, and that is something that, you know, I've personally seen, and that is something, yeah, of course, you have taken me through an entire journey of how it has been for you.
It's been nice, and I am very confident that it's only a matter of time. Women will come slow and slow in finance. But if you were to say, it's going to happen tomorrow? No. It has its own pace. It will happen. It will happen.
As you only said, right, reforms take time.
Yeah.
Something big.
Yeah. But it will happen. I am very confident. I know actually women are already doing. Just that it's not come out. If you go to everybody's homes, you go to as I told you, like in the mid-income, little higher group income, 70% of them are recruitments you take. You take in school, women are doing better, girl students are doing better. You come to like mid-segment, mid-income groups, every woman is working and they're doing multitasking. They work at home, they work outside, everything they're doing. Now slowly, they're also into finance and into, what shall I say, taking decisions of acquisition of property and things like that.
And they're not just being consulted now. They're actually signing authorities.
Yes.
That,
Yeah.
you know,
So for example, now we got a amendment in Companies Act where every company after beyond certain limit should have a women's director.
Yeah, correct.
So now
and board representation.
Board representation. Well. Yeah. Women have to be there.
Yeah.
So now you are going to have a director exam. So women have to get educated and come to a standard. You see, there's a compulsion. So I will want to ask my daughter or my daughter-in-law and all to take these exams and become well informed, so that when you sit on a board, you're able to the same exam even a man and a woman will take, right?
Do you see this becoming a new normal for our society, wherein, you know, women it won't be so much as you mentioned, right? What do you mean equality? It doesn't mean one is better than the other. It means that when you talk
both of them get equal opportunity in a given situation.
So when you say you know, let's say a financial advisor, it could be either of them.
Yeah.
When you look at an architect, it could be either of them. When you look at a lawyer, it could be either of them. So you don't have those gender.
It will be, but there is no. But certain times what happens when certain people take little time to trust a woman.
Why is that?
Because of their own background.
Have you faced something like this?
See, sometimes when big clients, see in our profession, in my profession, what happened? You always also with a senior. So then they will see your work along with that other person, and that's when you take over, right? So everybody has to go through that initial hiccup to be trusted.
Trial and testing.
Yeah, tested. Many times what happens, they ask in interviews, oh, women are not trusted, that means they haven't made it well. The same thing even man goes through. A young guy who's coming, we're not sure. Let's say we are now thinking of buying a property, a young chap comes. We're not sure whether about his experience. We're always doubtful. The same doubt is put even when it comes to a woman. Yeah. But then from a woman's point of view, we see that probably they're doubting because I'm a woman. That's a something added which comes into the mind of the woman. It should not be, is what I'm saying.
You never clarify in, like, you know, if that sort of a situation arises, you never end up clarifying that, is it because I'm a woman? Or is
we
it,
don't know. It's a mixed feeling. No, it's
a
mixed feeling in the river. So what advice I give to the women is that if you're feeling that way, don't make a big issue out of it. Your work will speak volumes. You just need to give. If X has rejected or not being rejected, Y will come when you do a good work.
It's the work that will matter at the end of the day.
Ultimately, whether it's male or female. Maybe initially they may trust a male, but if it doesn't do well, if it doesn't give out good results, they're going to anyway give up, right? Ultimately, what does a businessman want? Businessman wants an output, whether it's a male who's giving or female is going. But it's going to take a little time for the female to make an inroad. So she needs to be that patience. She needs to have that patience and not get dejected and say, just because I'm a lady, I did not get it.
And that could be something we could have in our minds, but
That
may
is
not
also
be
in
the
your mind.
case.
I would take it, it would be the case in 90% of it. Let us take it that way. All I say is, that is one of your other barrier. You have crossed so many barriers. Keep that as one more barrier and try to cross it. Once you cross and then you have proved yourself, that person is not going to leave you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
So
that
whatever you are, whichever profession you are, this
Yeah.
is there in every profession. Whether you're a doctor, lawyers, you are a financial consultant, you are an artist, anywhere you go, this is always, I say it is like this, it's like racial discrimination. When I go and do better, if I'm able to go and do better in a different country, and it is a universal truth that expats do better, migrants do better,
Yeah.
because they have no choice. So you think yourself, you are coming now into the new world of men, you are a migrant. So your work will speak, you're willing to work, you're willing to work, you're willing to work.
And then we have examples of, when we are breaking the glass ceiling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In that sense, women coming up with their own wealth management companies, women, like how I mentioned,
Yeah,
right?
I think you're running one.
We are running.
You're running all women.
It's an all women.
Yeah, and my
real
office,
estate,
my office is
vertical.
predominantly all women. My steno is a lady. I've got 4 juniors or all girls.
I'll tell you one thing, honestly, we have 70% women in the company.
See,
And now
how nice.
a real estate company run by 70% women. And yes, of course, we are assisting them in all of in their entire, hand-holding them through the entire journey
Yeah.
of real estate.
Yeah.
So that is something that, we never entered with that inhibition.
Did you ever feel that you encountered people having, because of your gender, they would not?
Yeah, that it doesn't come up to the forefront, but I think that is something that's something that women have an innate quality that you can immediately sense it. If if the person in front of you is a little uncomfortable, or if they have some inhibition, it comes to you.
I would only say that there's so much of work for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for these women, I can only say, don't go on cribbing that it didn't happen. It didn't happen in one space, it will happen somewhere else. You have to go through, because even when earlier clients would come, they were not sure whether she will be able to deliver.
Yeah.
So a new client comes, then you're not sure whether they will be able to deliver, because they are also seeing you for the first time.
Yeah.
They're not very sure you will be able to deliver. But then when they see your past work, I think any sensible person.
In fact, S.T.R.E.E. has also started with that only, right? When someone did not enter with that kind of confidence, and a father-son duo coming in and having a little, they were quite shaky. In fact, that it almost was that, we really don't want real estate advice from women, or how much would they know? Facing 3 women, and then eventually half an hour later, walking out with, keeping a check on our table, saying, all right, we are your customers. That actually sowed the seed for S.T.R.E.E. to come up, wherein we said, all right, if this is something that
and then the struggle becomes worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that. We have seen there's no difference in the advisory that we give, or anything.
In fact, you would have done better homework. You would have done more hard work.
Yeah.
It is just that word needs to spread around, and slowly it is getting spread around, and more people will see that.
And the best part of this vertical is, I thought, women might come to us for, real estate transaction. They're coming to us for knowledge. They want to understand. Can you explain us how the legal aspect works, or how, how can we start? Where do we enter? Okay. And there are a lot of career women who've made their careers. They're saying, we are business women. We fairly understand a fair bit of the financial market, because we manage our financial wealth ourselves. We want to enter into real estate and be be at the forefront of our own property. And that is something which right now gives us immense happiness, and hoping that it becomes the new normal, that whichever client walks in, irrespective of,
what is his thought process, you will be able to make an impression.
Absolutely, and that is what we wish to do. Hopefully that not as big as a reform that you are of course fighting for.
No, it is going to happen in all fields. I'm very confident of that.
So you're betting on women making it big in all aspects.
No, I would say they've already made it big. It is just that it's not come in the forefront, it's not been visible, that's all.
So with all this, if you had one advice or one, not advice, if you had one mantra that you want to give, people like me who are at some point in their career, women who are starting their careers, or even going back, of course, because every person or every woman at least right now, if not anything else, is very well informed because of the entire media market being so open. Everyone is informed. All women know that what they would be doing, what they're looking at. What is that one tip, one mantra that you want to give women in any aspect of their lives, whether it is their wealth, whether
Just
it's
keep
their family?
going, just keep going, hold on and keep going. You will go where you want to go. And because I find women are, if women says that she wants to do it, she will do it.
That's determination.
Yeah. It's always, it's there. It is just that she has so many distractions. I mean, so many good distractions. Motherhood, I wouldn't say it's a distraction, but it is there. So because of motherhood, home, family, then you're caring for the elders at home, and these are your good distractions. But so long as you are able to hold on to what you want to do, it will take a while. It will take a while, but you will get there.
And yeah, I think that would bring me to the end of this conversation that we have, and have some iced tea.
All my ice in the iced tea has melted.
I think we've broken the ice in the
Yes.
iced tea.
I hope this conversation will break the ice for many people,
I hope so.
and they will be able to kind of get the strength from within to do a lot of things that they've been wanting to do.
And you rightly said that, right? I think no one would, in their frame, not be aspirational. Of course, everyone has aspirations, right, of different kinds. And women, along with these, the frills that come with us, whether it's motherhood, whether it's being a caregiver for the family, there are aspirations. And as long as we burst out on our own, everything else is definitely manageable.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed this, and I thoroughly enjoyed talking
that
to
was the
you.
beginning of my question, right? At the end of this conversation, if you feel that we are friends enough, that's more than happy. I'm more than
Certainly,
happy.
we are more friends than before, and we can have many more conversations on many aspects.
Definitely. And I'm going to hold you on to that.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
done.
We'll do that.
All
we'll
right.
do that.
Thank you.
Bye.